Today, we're going to be talking about communication and customer service skills for techies, introverts, and other left-brainers. What do you think about that, Marty?
I think not too bad, although I thought that there was, I thought, and I know that we don't talk a whole lot before these things. I hear you talk a lot about left brain, right brain. And I know that every once in a while, people say that maybe there's something to it, there's not something to it. But I thought that I read lately that maybe there was a little controversy over the whole left brain, right brain, and whether or not that's even a thing.
Whether that's valid anymore?
Yeah, and since I know that a lot of what you do relies on that, I'm curious your thoughts.
Yes, and just as an added side note, Mart, I was just reading an article today about telepathy. It was an article that was citing scientific studies that, and this was somewhere in the government database of medical database, how our brains are actually able to communicate with other people's brains. And they were documenting how animals' brains can communicate with one another through what we would normally think of as telepathy. So the point of that is we are discovering new things about the brain every single day. And the whole study of brains has really started within the past 100 years. So of course, we're going to be finding out new things all the time. And some of the things that we once thought to be true are going to turn out maybe not to be true. I'm not a brain scientist. I do, however, know that through my studies of the brain and how it relates to communication, there has been a lot of changes in the way the scientific community in general looks at the brain and the two different hemispheres of the brain, for example, the left side and the right side. And I was just doing some work with Lecturio. Do you know about Lecturio, Marty?
Lecturio?
Lecturio, Lecturio, Lecturio.
Not at all.
They're like I'm like the David Hasselhoff of communication skills training, and they're the.
Is that why you dressed like him tonight?
Yeah, it is actually. Yes, look at that. Yeah, I like that. Do you like that? I wore this actually in honor of you.
Very Knight Rider. I mean, I like the inside shirt too, and the jacket gives it a Knight Rider vibe. Hi, Jenny Novak.
Hi, Jenny Novak.
Just stopping in.
So Lecturio is kind of like the Udemy of Germany. And that's why I say I'm like the David Hasselhoff of communication training. I'm very popular in Germany. Hello, Germany.
Aren't you on that? You mean that's the platform you're on?
I am on that. I mean, I'm one of the instructors.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Got you. Okay. I do know.
So they're like the Udemy of Germany, but for medical professionals, including brain scientists and neuroscientists and things like that. So we were talking with them. I was talking with them about this very subject. And what has happened in the past few years is there has been some controversy over the recent findings as to, is it as specific as we once thought that? Remember when we talked to that guy, Marty, who spoke like 36 languages, Michael something?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we were talking to this speaker who spoke like 36 languages, and he was saying, well, when I speak in this language, it's over here, and when I speak in this language, it's over there, and when I speak in this language, it's over there. And somehow he could feel where these languages lived in his brain. But the scientific community right now is saying that it may not be that specific, that there might not be certain things that we keep in this side and that side. I don't know. However, I do know that despite all of the recent research and different things that they're finding out, it still remains true that language is going to be basically, for the vast majority of us, in the left-hand side of the brain. That's where we keep numbers. That's where we generally keep our logical thinking side of our logical thinking tools, for example. So language, left side, is still going to be true. Emotional, right side, as far as we know up to this point, is still going to be true. Now that maybe changes if you have a brain injury. Like Marty, you know people who've had strokes. Our family has lots of strokes.
Yes, at least that's what they blame it on.
Yes. So we've had cousins. How old was Amy's son when he had his first stroke? 4?
Yeah, quite young. Yeah.
Yes. And what happens, that's a great example of how the left brain holds language, because most people, when they have a stroke, for some reason, I believe when most strokes occur, it affects the left-hand side of the brain. And that's why most people's language skills are so immediately affected. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some skills for people who are technical employees, who are technical professionals, and maybe they're just introverts, but they are generally what people would consider to be left brain thinkers. And how can we, as left brain thinkers, as technical professionals, deliver extraordinary customer service skills? Why would we want to do that? And how can we do that? We're talking about that today. Sound good?
It sounds great.
Sounds great. But I know you wanted to, Marty is a very social and connected type of guy.
Oh gosh, it's crazy.
He is crazy too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you were telling me it was Molly Ringwald's birthday today.
I don't know if it was today. I think it was 2 days ago.
Oh, and for those, most people on this call, from what I understand of my demographics, are going to know who she is, right? Molly Ringwald.
Sure, I would think so. I think even the next generation, 30 and above, I think may know. Just because 30 and above, 25 and above, I don't know, we're subjected to it through their parents as well.
I'm surprised she hasn't made more of a comeback, had more of a renaissance. I'm surprised because she was such the thing at the time.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like a Winona Ryder.
Yeah, they were kind of competing for the top teen queen.
But I mean, Winona Ryder right now with Stranger Things.
Yes, I've not seen Stranger Things, so I don't know about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Let me recommend that to you.
I haven't seen anything that started like any show in the past 8 years, maybe. I don't think I haven't seen any. But Marty, that reminds me.
Yes.
We were talking yesterday. It reminds me of a lot of things. Molly Ringwald, when I looked at her Instagram today that you showed me, I just took a brief look at it. But I thought she has so much style, and she just looks so great, and she looks her age. Unlike so many people are trying, like Demi Moore. Have you seen Demi Moore's pictures lately?
No.
It's I don't know what she does. She's like a Cher. She's doing something that she looks really unusually well pickled, I guess. But not that that's good or bad. She just looks unusually. I think here's what I think that is. I think she makes a lot of people really feel bad about themselves. Like she makes a lot of people. She puts up a very unattainable goal.
Molly Ringwald.
No,
not sorry. Not my. I mean, sorry. Who did you just say?
Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the one who was dated.
Oh, Demi Moore. Sorry, Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. I think it's very unattainable, and I think pictures of people like Demi Moore and her Facebook page should have disclaimers on it that say this is not a real person. You cannot really look like this. No matter how hard you try, unless you have a team of plastic surgeons and Photoshop editors at your disposal to also Photoshop, live video feeds, which you can do. So I think body shaming is it's a big deal to me, body shaming. And I believe that just her being like she is, God bless her, I think shames a lot of people, What
about Molly Ringwald? What does Molly do to look
Molly
what she does?
She just really looks like she's happy with herself. As I was going through her Instagram, and it was brief, so I cannot say I'm a Molly Ringwald expert, but I could say that it looks as though she has found her place. Like she's found her lane. She found her community, and she looks happy with herself. I don't know. She just seems that she's a unique person, and she doesn't appear as she was back in the day, I guess. She does not appear to be trying to be anybody else. She's just like, here I am. And I like that about her. But that reminds me of yesterday. We had a community work done. What? She has had work done, you think?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Has she had work done? You can tell.
I don't know. And I don't know. And I don't blame anybody. Whoever wants to do anything, your body.
Me either. No way. Yeah.
Just don't shame me. Don't shame me.
Couple of shout outs. There's this wacky person, Jorge Baeza. He's saying hello. True Seeker, AJ, Sarah's here.
Hi, Sarah.
Our member. Let's see. We've
Sarah.
got Tim's on the island. I don't know which one.
Tim's on the island.
It's just Tim on the island.
Okay.
And then Defina Everhart.
Hi, Defina.
And, yeah.
Oh, I love that name, Defina Everhart.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
And our new member, PJ Masks. It just popped right up right there.
Thank
Wow,
you. And
sounds
you should
cool.
tell me to put my mic closer to my face sometimes.
Sounds great. Other member Linda
Hi, Linda.
coming in to say hi, Dan. You sound a lot better right now. Lisk is
Thank
saying
you.
good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who is saying good evening?
You are. You sound Lisk.
Hi, Lisk.
Tim on the island.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah. So here we are. I hope,
Great.
Tim, you really are on an island.
Hey, Tim. You know, we were going to be talking. Well, we are going to be talking about customer service skills,
Yeah.
but I wanted to give a quick shout out to those who were in my inner circle meeting last night. And
Oh, okay.
just to clarify, because I know that we've had some questions, there is a difference between this group that we're in right now, this live session. This is open to the public, kind of free for all, which we have a theme that we will try to get to in a moment. But this is our open to the public live show.
Okay.
We were going to have it once a month, but I believe it's more frequent now. We have a inner circle meeting, which we had last night. And the inner circle meeting, if you wanted to join that, you would go to danoconnor.training.com and sign up to be an inner circle member at our store. And
Okay.
I was floored with the group last night and how everybody knew, for example, who Dr. Amen was. Hi, buddy. Oh, buddy is still crying. But more during the day. Everybody knew who Dr. Amen was. Dr. Amen is the doctor on YouTube. Well, other than YouTube, he's all over the place, but he does the You Can Heal Your Brain videos, and he has written many books. And it was unusual to be in a group of people where every single person knew who Dr. Amen was. Every single person knew about neuroplasticity. Every single person was taking some type of vitamins or supplements to try and counteract the toxins, in the world today. And every person was very conscious in a certain lane of health and brain wellness that inspired me to do today's show. So I wanted to give a shout out to everyone there. And if anyone wanted to join our inner circle meeting where you get inner circle information, that would be at danoconnor.training.com/store. And if you wanted to join these types of meetings, we also have members only meetings. I don't remember when those are, Mark. We have to start scheduling those more often. Remember to become a member so you can guarantee you get your questions answered. That is hitting the join button. So any other thing that I left unclear there, Mart, as to membership joining?
No, but I know that you have. Well, first of all, maybe because let's just say you're me, Dr. Amen, you'd want to look him up on YouTube if you don't know who he is. And that's spelled Amen.
Amen. That's
sure.
correct.
Yeah, if you're going to look him up and you don't know who he is
Yep.
and what he's all about. We have some of our friends, True Seeker likes True Seeker and Lisk. They're both into it. So
they are?
Yeah, they're saying he's awesome.
Unusual.
And do you know? Okay, True Seeker is going to put you on a. Here's going to be a test from True Seeker. Do you know what the ANTS method is?
I don't. I apologize. I don't. With the ANTS, ANTZ or what?
ANTS.
ANTS. No, tell me about that though. I would like to know.
Okay,
I'll look it up. Will you look it up?
Sure. Okay. See you, Tim.
Not
so okay. Can we get to what we were talking about today? What's today's topic, Dan?
Today is about communication skills and customer service skills for techies and other left brainers.
Okay.
And the reason I have focused on that, so that was actually my first communication course that I offered to the public. Excuse me, Meg is about to attack. Can you hear that?
No, but
okay.
What inspired you to create the course?
Because for some reason,
okay,
I happen to I've always gravitated towards and connected well with people who are on the spectrum, and the way they communicate fascinates me. And I guess I'm good at giving them what they want, that particular group. Okay. In fact, I have a great testimonial I'd like to read to you today.
Okay.
Because I'm frequently dealing with that group and enjoy it so much, the first communication course that I did was for people who tend to be more left brainers, which includes most of the people that I talk with who happen to be on the spectrum as well. Mm-hmm. And so when I came out with that course, I was the only one on the market that I knew of who was offering a course specifically for left brainers who want to improve their communication skills. And as I was talking about, I think in our last group, in our last session, that when you can do that, when you can say, I have superior technical ability, I am a a web developer with highly developed communication skills as well, that becomes a elite skill set that then opens the doors for the elite jobs that are out there with the elite companies. And when you can combine those two sides of the brain, and then when you know how to showcase that on your resume, the opportunities are endless. And we are this week, I think either Wednesday or Thursday, we're having Heather Lippman on, who's one of the top recruiters and headhunters in the industry, who anybody who's out there who is looking for jobs in that industry will be able to help show you how to create a resume that displays that properly.
Oh, right on. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. And we're gonna have her on this week. But I wanted to show you this testimonial because it'll, one time I said something about my friends and family and spouse who's on the spectrum, and somebody I must have said it in the wrong way. And this is what I really meant. This is what I do. Okay. Ask Jean to send you the testimonial because I don't want to waste anybody's time.
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. So, I mean, so you've made the course.
So I apologize. Go ahead.
You've made the course, and is the course, I mean, it's all ready to go right now?
Oh, it's ready to go. It's one of my first courses. I've been teaching it for about 10 years.
Oh, okay. So we're just reviewing it tonight then, or what?
I'm going to get chunks of it and talk about why it's important. For example, if you run a department of customer service agents who tend to be more on the technical side, how can you impress upon them the need to develop those right brain, what are considered to be traditionally right brain skills, and then why they should do that and how they can do that. It's important to really showcase that so that people are encouraged to do it and have the skills, the tools to do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Why would you want to do it, and what are the tools that can help you do that?
Well, okay, that makes me that I have another question then. So when you're talking about, for example, today, in today's, well, let me just ask you this: how has artificial intelligence changed? I know that, like, right now, for example, right now I know that AI right now is increasingly handling, for example, customer interactions, right?
Yeah.
And AI is doing these things. So how, for example, with this course, prepare managers, supervisors, I mean, is it something that you would use in this course? Are you going to talk about how AI is being used, but at the same time also using ensuring a personalized customer experience?
Yeah, we do talk about that because when I started this course, of course, it was before AI.
Sure.
And now that it's so big, I don't know about you, but I use AI every single day. And I was talking with some educators about it at a recent conference, not the Alaska one, but a different one. And a lot of teachers, and if you'd be surprised if you didn't know, in general, the education community, the community that I know of, the teachers, principals, people who are in that field, don't use it, don't know what it is. They, of course, have heard about it, but almost nobody uses it. They're all just very against it. So they don't actually use it. And so what they do is they're scared of it. And they say, for example, to their kids, that they can't use it. They discourage people using it. What I have found is, just like any other technology, it's a great tool that will separate the cream of the crop from the average, in this case, customer service agent, because while everybody has access to that, and that's why we're moving into the age of love, while everybody has access to AI, it is going to be those who know how to use it the most creative way, the best way, so that they can most serve their customers, that will come out on top. Yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm listening.
So, for example, here's how I use AI and how I encourage people to use it in the customer.
That's what was my next question. Yep. Okay. Give me an example.
Yeah. For example, if you have a customer service team that's, let's say, let's say we're working with MLGW, Memphis Light Water and Gas, MLGW, Memphis Light Gas and Water. They're one of my customers. So I focus on freestyle scripts, which are different from regular scripting techniques that a lot of companies use. And freestyle scripts are going to be unique in the way that it's kind of like fill in the, Marty, you remember Mad Libs?
Yeah, oh, totally. Yep. They're my favorite thing on the airplane.
What? In the airplane? Yep. And so So Mad Libs, if you're not aware, are fill in the blank stories where they say, pick an adjective, pick a noun, pick a verb. You choose these words, and then later on you put it in the story that it was made for, and you read it aloud, and it's, can be funny. So freestyle scripts are similar to that in the sense that it gives you a structure for the type of thing you want to deliver. If you're going to be asking a question, if you're going to be closing the conversation, if you're going to be opening the conversation, and you fill in the blanks so that you can customize it and make it personal to you. Because nobody wants to read a script, and nobody wants to have a script read to him or her. You know what it's like in Mexico, for example, Marty, when you go to the bank, or when you call up Telcel or the phone company, the bank, they are scripted word for word, and it gets tedious, and it's distracting because you know that they're not really present in that conversation. They're just reading the script. But when you have a guide for your thoughts so that you can get them out clearly and customize it for the individual and for yourself, that makes all the difference. And so with AI, for example, AI can help you. Excuse me. AI can help you in this sense. Let's say that you have you're working at MLGW and you want to, hey, go on, Max. You want to relate to your customers. You want to know what the top 10 questions are that your customers are concerned about, why the top 10 things that they call about. You can use AI to say, for example, these are the things I hear my customers saying. How should I respond to them? And AI will tell you, well, you want to address this concern, that concern. Here's how you would, one second. You can say, it will tell you, for example, this is the concern you should address. That's the concern that you should address. And knowing that, you can get your lead-in lines, your closing lines, and then fill it in with your own personal style. And it creates a perfect blend of, like, for example, when you and I were talking about the AI course, or excuse me, not the AI course, the Customer Service for Techies course, I didn't really understand what the people who were purchasing this course were facing every single day. Like, why are the directors and managers that frequently purchase this course, why are they purchasing it from me? I thought I knew, but I ran it through AI so that I could get a better understanding. And it gave me some very specific examples of the pain points or the day-to-day difficulties that these managers and supervisors were dealing with, and how that really hit them and prompted them to look for a course like this. I couldn't have had a great understanding of that if it were not for AI. And so I could take the information from AI, and with that, I could more accurately present how this is going to help serve those needs, and then adjust the course as well to help them take care of those issues.
Do you use a particular AI service when you're doing that?
I just use ChatGPT. And if you have not used ChatGPT, it's changed a lot. Everybody's heard of it, I'm sure, but it's always evolving and has different tools. And so some of the new tools that it has, I just love it. So I use it all the time to help with research and to help with scripting. It's fantastic.
Okay. Great. You want to do some shout outs on a couple of questions? But I guess right now, just so that people know, you've got this new program available on your website.
It's not a new program. It's one of my first programs, but it is still available. People sometimes have trouble.
You're laying a lot on me, so yeah. That's what it is. Okay, you're laying a lot on me tonight, so I'm just trying to make sure.
I'm laying a lot on you. I know.
If I don't know it, then maybe some other folks don't.
When I stopped doing on-sites for a long time. When the pandemic started, I totally stopped doing it. Marty, by the way, here's just a fun tool for research. There's a tool that's like Timeline. I'll look it up and I'll give it to you later on. But there's a tool where I could research. Tell me about Dan O'Connor's history, Dan O'Connor Training's history. It was so weird. It told me like how I started, what my first books were about. It talked about mom. It talked about how the pandemic came, and so I had to switch my strategy, about my online courses. And then I asked it about the future of online training or Dan O'Connor training. Oh my gosh. I'm going to give you the link because it was really cool. And a lot of people would like it when it comes to their research. I think it would help. It gives you a visual timeline of somebody's history.
Cool. All right, let's go. So let's do some shout outs, shall we? Let's see. Mixtress Monica is here.
Mistress Monica.
Mixtress Monica.
Mistress
We've
Monica.
got
Nice.
Lin U2. We've got PJ loves ChatGPT as well. Wait, here's a question though from Liz. This is a good one.
Okay.
If I'm interacting with AI when I'm chatting online or on the phone with customer service, do I still have to speak in a loving way?
That's funny. I personally have found it makes a difference. I talk to AI when I talk to ChatGPT. I think this is what Liz is talking about. I will say things like please and thank you and great job, and I will talk to AI in a loving way. And remember that AI learns, and it has, they say, a consciousness. And when you treat it a certain way, it does affect the results it gives you. And since I am, in general, trying to elicit a miraculous response from people by using words of love, because that's all that will elicit that type of response, I do it as well with ChatGPT, and I have noticed a difference.
Great.
By the way, on my website, if you on the top menu, you'd want to click on on-site. That is what would bring you to my courses that I deliver in public, such as the left brain for techies. Excuse me, the right brain communication skills for left brain techies.
Okay. Are there other things when you think about right brain, left brain that pop to mind that are something that we should like take away, or that are, and this is what I ask. Here's what I ask. Sometimes I always say to people, don't work on what you're not good at. Right. So my question sometimes is why,
I see. Yeah. I see, because I wouldn't want
Just
to.
in a very sense.
No, I think it's a great question, because I'm with you. I try not to focus on my weaknesses and develop them. That's just such a counterproductive thing to do. So when you, for example, are very left brain, first of all, the more left brain people are, the more they actually think, oh, communicating's not my thing. They will all the time say how challenged they are. The more left brain I notice people to be, the scientists, for example, at the lab in Los Alamos, they are always going to be the first ones to tell me, oh, this is such a challenge for me. But they are always my best students, because all they do is say, well, by the time they come to me, they will say, just tell me what to say and I'll say it. And I'll be like, great. And so I'll give them the sentences. They say them just as they are given, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was like that. And so if you think that you just should not try, I would encourage you to try, because when you have the right teacher and the right tools, you will find that you will excel much more quickly than people who might find it natural to excel in communication skills. And the reason I would do it is because I'm not talking about developing your ability to be more empathetic. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But what you would want to do is be able to effectively communicate and achieve the goal that comes with being empathetic. And you could do that simply by learning, for example, active listening. That's one of the top skills that the world's best companies to work for look for. Top thing is always going to be active listening. What does active listening mean? You act like you're listening. That's what it means. And so I want to project the image of somebody who's listening, whether or not it comes naturally to me to be empathetic. I can learn what the skills are, what the body movements are that projects to the listener, I am listening, because that is how you are judged on your listening skills, as if you are, regarding whether you are or are not a good active listener. It's whether the person to whom you are listening thinks. That's all. They are the ones who pick it, who decide. And if you say, well, no, wait a minute, they might think I'm a terrible listener, but I listen to everything that they say. I could tell you every word that they said. That doesn't matter. It's about, do they feel as though you were listening to them? That's what makes you an active listener or not. And so, the one technique, ONE, that means that I'm going to, for example, I'm going to have open posture, which means I just have to make sure my chest is open, my shoulders are back. Remind me about the Tucker Carlson interview. Okay. So that's number one, open posture. I want to make sure that I'm projecting an open posture. I want to nod my head. About every 7 seconds or so, I want to get in a nod, because that one gesture, just nodding my head is going to send the message, I'm listening to you. Now on the telephone, since we can't see what somebody's doing, if you can just say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
every 7 seconds or so, that will convey the basic head nod. However, a lot of people will not nod their heads because they're concerned with sending a message that says, I agree with you. You're right? Because that's what men tend to interpret a head nod as. Women do not. Women tend to, what do women tend to see this as, Marty? What am I saying to you if you're a woman? No, I'm generally speaking, of course.
Sure. No. What?
Women tend to, more than men, see this as, I'm listening to you. I can understand what you're saying to me. That's all.
That's good.
And so
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, but it's very different from a man who tends to interpret this as, I agree with you. And that's what we are sending. If I'm listening to you, most men won't nod our heads until we come to a point of agreement. And that's when we'll be like,
okay.
So I don't want to do that, especially if I'm listening to a woman. So I want to make sure that I'm sending her the message, I get what you're saying. And the eye contact, by the way, that's the E. So I want to maintain that eye contact, but how many seconds do I want to maintain it for, Marty?
Just 1 or 2.
Well, more like 7 seconds or so. Now,
okay, that's what I meant.
That's what you meant. I know. Now
then you look away for 1 or 2.
Right. Now, what do you do, Marty? You just realized, oh my gosh, I've had people do this. They'll say, hi, Dan. And I'll talk to them in person. And she'll be like, Dan, I don't know what it is, but people will say that I'm very aggressive and I'm not aggressive. I just don't know what they're talking about. Can you tell me what it is? Why do people think that I'm so aggressive? Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it'll be like, you need to break the eye contact. That's why you're giving people the crazy eyes. And when you open up your eyes too wide, for example, that's, a sign of psychosis, for example. I don't want to do that. And, if I'm staring somebody down, that's a sign of aggression. Dogs will lock their eyes on you and they won't move because they're telling you, I'm about to bite you if you don't change course. And so you can normally, this is where for techies comes in. And if you're very left brain, or if you're maybe on the spectrum, many people who are on the spectrum they don't pick up on those cues naturally. They don't recognize that, about every 7 seconds or so, people tend to, in a normal conversation, in a standard regular conversation, they tend to break the eye contact and look away. And that makes it comfortable while you're maintaining eye contact and being engaged. So if I feel like, oh, wait a minute, I think about 7 seconds has passed, maybe 10. That's too much. So I just want to glance over your shoulder and back. That's all it takes. I can just glance over your shoulder and back, and that breaks the eye contact, relieves the tension. Because a lot of people, Marty, they'll go into interviews and they'll be like, okay, I believe I'm supposed to maintain the eye contact. Go. And so they'll sit there through the whole interview like this, thinking that that's what they're supposed to do. And the interviewer will leave and they'll think, boy, they were really good at maintaining that eye contact. Were you creeped out by them? I was creeped out by them. Okay, then you'll not get the job. So remember to break that eye contact, O-N-E. So I want to keep that keep that posture open. I want to lean forward and nod about every 7 seconds or so and break the eye contact. And if I can throw in those as well, perfect. And remember, by the way, if you are a man or if you're somebody who in general has trouble nodding your head, because a lot of people will tell me, I do not want to do that, especially if I'm with a man, because I don't want him to think that I agree with his ideas if I really don't. And we were talking about head nods, Mart, if you just tilt your head to the left a little bit and then you give a nod. Now, am I sending you a message? I agree with you. Am I sending that? No, I'm not. I'm sending you a message. No. Oh, what am I sending you?
That's confusing. Why are you saying that?
Well,
you're rather peculiar, and I think I'm going to leave now.
It could be. Now, I'm doing a reaction video of Tucker Carlson. I don't know if anybody saw this Tucker Carlson interview. The horror.
Well, can I just before?
Yeah,
Dan, can we stop for 1 second? Because we have a member question before you get into Tucker. I never know if people have to leave or go or they're bopping in. What are you pounding there? What do you got? The Hawaiian Punch?
Hawaiian Punch.
Yeah, there you go. So our new member, PJ Mass.
Hi, PJ.
Is asking, hey, Dan, sorry, this is off topic.
It's okay.
Would you write a letter to your manager's manager, highlighting a history of toxic communications and situations from my manager, or would you talk to it and provide evidence later? You want me to say that again?
No, I got it.
Okay.
You want to know? Okay, so your manager is very tough. Let me see if you get this, Marty. If you understand the same way I do, if you see
Okay.
things the same way. My manager is toxic and is engaged in a pattern of toxic behavior. Should I? Well, the question I don't think was, should I talk to his manager or her manager about it was about how should I do it? Is that correct?
Well, hey, Dan, sorry, this is off topic. Would you write a letter to your manager's manager highlighting a history of toxic communications and situation from my manager, or would you talk to it? Maybe talk to the manager and provide evidence later.
Yeah, see, I think the question is, should I talk to my manager's manager like this or like that? And
Got you.
I think,
Okay.
I think,
Yeah,
and
sounds good to me.
I think the question you want to ask is, why would I want to do that? And you want to do your cost benefit analysis. If I go to my boss's boss and talk to them about my boss, what would the possible benefit be for me? Because this is all about you. Don't try to be a hero for other people. And what would the price be that I would most likely pay? And is it worth it? So, Marty, if you're a bystander, you're in any XYZ organization, and so an employee wants to go over their boss and talk to their boss's boss about the pattern of toxic behavior that they believe their boss is engaging in, and they ask you, what do you think about that, Marty? What do you think the benefit would be for PJ? Did you say, is that his name?
Yes.
What do you think the benefit, or her name?
Or
I think it's a man. What would you think the benefit might be?
Oh, you're asking me.
I'm asking you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it would depend. Like if it's time for that manager to go, that could be the benefit. Like if you're not the only one with those rumblings, if you think, hey, this is a history, this isn't just me, this person's a bully, this person's a wacko. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Right?
Sure,
so that's when I think, and you can't talk to them because they're like, what? They're wacko or off kilter or something like that. Then I'd say, okay, I think, yeah, you're right. If most of the time, I think you'd want to have, maybe you just correct me if you think I'm wrong, because I don't have a whole lot of history with this, as you know. But I think you'd want to talk, but it sounds like you can't, or PJ Masks has already attempted to talk to the manager, and I think that's the problem. This is an unreceptive manager, but I don't know. That's my guess.
And
what are your thoughts?
Well, before I tell you my thoughts, what do you think the possible price? Because that's what the whole cost benefit analysis is about.
You get your ass fired.
You get your ass fired. Now, how probable do you think, on a scale of 1 to 10, I love to look at things in this is another reason I believe a lot of people who are just left brainers, they like my material, because I like to use a system. So I'm going to do a cost benefit analysis on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you think the benefit would be worth to me? Like 1 to 10, would that be if my boss were suddenly transformed or maybe fired or whatever it is that I want, if my boss were changed for a different person, whether that's the same physical person or not, how much would that benefit me on a scale of 1 to 10?
Do you become the manager?
I don't know if that's PJ's goal, but
I tell you, PJ's also added, P.S., just we have some additional info.
Yep.
It's happened for the last 2 years, and I'm scared as they are friends, and the manager's manager him to our team. Then for sure I wouldn't go over their head.
Right. So it sounds like
sure. I'd start with the manager, start a lot of, that's just my opinion. I would go to the manager and be like, yo, I think you're a toxic goof, and here's why. And then hopefully I'm recording that and toxic. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to step back because I don't want anybody listening to what I have to say.
No,
that's
no, you
real.
do. You're my hero. You're my brother hero.
Thanks,
but that's why I'll always defend you with sausages. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, for example, I believe that the possible benefit for you and how it may impact your life right now, I'm not sure exactly what you would want to happen, but maybe it would be like a 2, a 3. Even if that person were changed, because here's the deal: if that person is allowed to be who they are right now in that organization, it's because whoever's above that person thinks they are perfect for the job, right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
They think that they are doing exactly what they should be doing, or they would not be doing it. And so,
their buddies.
right? And now that we know that they're buddies, that just confirms that. And the benefit, or excuse me, the cost, however, on a scale of 1 to 10, sounds like it could be a 5 or above. Like it sounds like the most likely thing that would happen is, first of all, you would be labeled a troublemaker. Your boss now would know that you have all of these horrible things to say about him or her, and they're not going to be fired, but chances are you would be. So I just don't think that's worth it. And here's what I do think would be worth it, though. I mean, I think if this is being brought up in you, PJ,
Right.
this is obviously something that's important to you. Regardless of what has happened up until now, if you decide that you are going to try to be that transformational conduit, and if you decided to work with your boss and find out what the mindset is, why he really or she really thinks the way that they think, and if you can just turn it up, if you can ask for the right words, you could actually make a change, not just in that organization, but in that person's life, a very immediate, direct change, and show them a different way of doing things. If you have not yet found the answers, if you focus on that and realize there is an answer, you could be the person who brings it to the table to make a change. You could really make a big difference in your life, in your organization's life, in your boss's life. And I realize that is not always a possibility. So I don't want to sound like I'm Pollyanna. You know what I mean? I really don't. Your boss could be totally toxic, and their boss could be totally toxic. In that case, if it's a hopeless environment, which could be, that's why you want to have your showcase resume. You want to make sure that your options are as many as you want to have as many options as you can get. You want to make sure that your skill set is as valuable as it could be, as premium as it could be, so that you have options. Because here's what I'm going to guess, PJ. If you had all of the options in the world, if you had companies waiting for you to work with them, and maybe you do, but if you have companies waiting to work with you, if you know that you possess a premium skill set and can go and choose wherever you want it to work, watch how that dynamic of how your current supervisor or boss does things and how they're making it a toxic work environment, that would change in terms of your list of priorities, and you wouldn't see it as you see it now. So I would focus on that first. Focus on, can you go someplace else? Do you have options? Or do you feel in any way trapped here? Because if you did then, once you have those things established and you wanted to go talk to your manager or supervisor and say, hey, wait a minute, you just, bawled out my friend in the most degrading way, and you're trying to rob people of their dignity, and you have no respect for anybody. If you wanted to say those types of things to somebody and you did not need that paycheck at the end of the week, you did not need that job, the way you would approach it would be totally different than if you had in any way feel like, oh, but I need this job. So you would be more effective, things would come out differently, and you would see it from a different angle. That's my answer. But do not talk to your boss's boss about anything ever, because that, by the way, is breaking the rules. And in the rules, if you do something like that, you would deserve to be fired. You would, like I as an employer would say, up there, you just gave them your ticket to not passing go and not, collecting your $100. You're out. You're getting the little silver car, put on the mustache. You're out of the game.
Okay. Hey, where do you want to go with this, Dan? You're at 44 minutes now.
I'm at 44 minutes?
Yeah.
You really babble a lot, Marty.
I really do, don't I?
Yeah, so then I'm going to throw in these 3 things, okay? These are 3 things. Marty, what do you think is the biggest mistake that small business owners and managers and supervisors make when investing in customer service skills? You want to improve your customer service skills. What's the number one mistake people make that prevents them from really making a difference in their customer service? I'll give you a hint. They invest in
nothing.
They invest in customer service training. When almost always, when a company hires me to do customer service training, in the initial discovery area, when we're having our initial phone calls, I will discover almost always, 99 times out of 100, that they do not invest in their communication training for employees as they talk to one another. And it is an impossibility that we will treat our customers better than we treat one another. That's impossible. And so a lot of times, for example, this PJ's manager, I'm going to guess, will tell people to attend this customer service training or that customer service training. And you know, the types of managers who will say things like, hey, loser, make sure to sign up for that course today. You know what I mean? Very literally, people will talk that way to their employees. And it's like, how do you expect somebody? It's like, you know, Marty, remember when we would go to the lakes as kids? Remember as little kids? And we'd go to Molly's Lakes in the scary house that now is Cousin Katie's house. Remember the kids that used to live there?
Sort of.
I do. They scared me. It was like they did, because they scared me, because you could tell by the way that they greeted us. You know how they would, like this, Marty. Remember this, Marty? Marty? Remember? You know, you could tell by the way they talked to the world that there was something going on in the house. No, you can't. You know, everybody knows of the troubled house on the block. You know, everybody has in their neighborhood some house where it's just weird. And the way that they talk to their neighbors is just odd. And you know, whatever goes on in that house is just odd. They can't pretend when they talk to their neighbors that everything's okay, because it's not okay in their house. And the thing is, a lot of organizations will try to do that. And they'll tell their employees to go to these communication courses, learn how to provide customer service, blah, blah, blah. When in their own house, they're treating one another with zero dignity, zero respect, zero civility. And until that problem is remedied, you cannot address the problem of customer service skills, because it's an impossibility that we would treat our customers better than we treat one another.
Is that the 3 things?
No, that's number 1. That's number 1.
Okay, just making sure. You kind of seem like you're having a hard stop, like, and that's the end of that. Okay.
I would get people that as a good start.
You were going with that. That's where we're ending it.
There are 2 other things, but we can do them later on because I've gone over so much.
Well,
number 2, I'll give you number 2.
Whatever.
Number 2 is, I'll give you number 2 and 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2 is, I want to ask myself, what systems what situations do I frequently encounter over and over and over again that I could systematize and have not? So that's one of the questions anybody can ask themselves. If you're a small business owner, if you're managing a group of people, maybe it's just yourself. What are the situations in which I find myself frequently, more than once, that I could then systematize and make it into a, would you like fries with that? Welcome to McDonald's. I'm Dan. Things like that. So I want to ask myself, what are these situations that I could right now improve by using a script? I want to ask myself, how are we treating one another? And I want to, number 3, ask myself, what are the signs, the obvious signs that I send, either with the language that I'm using, with the visuals that I'm sending, that show my customer, I have invested in you before you even got here. I have invested in myself so that I could serve you more than your competition does. You know what I mean? What are those signs? How do I communicate that? And if you don't know how you communicate that, then your chances are not communicating that. And those 3 things anybody can do. Everybody can ask themselves those questions. How am I showing my customer I've invested in them before they got here? What are the signs? Number 2, what are the situations that I could systematize? And number 3, how are we investing in the way we treat one another? And if you just do those 3 things, that will take your customer service skills to the next level completely, if you just do that. And then once you've done that, you can get into all right, now let's get into some more advanced situations. These are the situations we normally have. How can I script these out so that everybody on my team can just blow our customers away? That comes next.
Okay, great. Okay. Right. Well, hey, keep that voice going. We want you to stay healthy. So we're at 49 minutes. We've gotten a lot of good stuff today. I really like it. So we're just going to remind folks, get their buns over to YouTube, where we do have Mixtress Monica's being amazing, asking people to like us. I see we've got 25 likes now on the video.
Thank you, Mixtress Monica. And thank you, everybody. By the way,
and everybody who liked it as well, of course.
By the way, if when you're watching videos on YouTube or wherever you're watching them, some people aren't on YouTube, I forget.
Sure.
Make sure to either, if you found value in it, like it. That's how we keep afloat. Or if you don't like it, tell us how we could make it better the next time. I'm always open to negative feedback. Always. It's incredibly useful.
Great. Well, don't be too open to it, or most of it will say, get rid of your older brother.
I don't. Nobody would say that. We would just erase
No,
those comments. We would delete them.
joking.
We
That's
delete
right.
them.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, thanks, Dan. Let's so just remember, we want to get over to YouTube, hit the join button, get questions answered, everything. That's good from Dan.
Okay, is it dark there, Marty?
It sure is.
Gosh, it looks really dark. I can't believe. Oh, wait a minute, Marty.
Yes.
Tonight, I'm putting out a video of the Putin interview. Did you happen to see any of those? I mean, it's not really an interview. Did you happen to see any of the clips from that, Marty?
No, I haven't seen that, but you've got a review of Tucker.
Yes, I do. I do.
That's good.
It was really weird.
That's good.
And the things that are uncovered in the things that he sends, for example, if you're on the spectrum, you may have more challenges recognizing the body language signals than somebody who's not on the spectrum. And even if you're not on the spectrum, most of us miss certain cues. He was giving the most interesting cues, and Putin was, I mean, it was embarrassing, but I thought it was very interesting. So I'm going to use it as a just reaction video later on tonight. So take a look at that if you're interested in watching Tucker Carlson's body language and how Putin totally made him into his biatch. That's what he did.
Wow.
It was awful. It was embarrassing.
All right.
Just as a human being, I was like, oh my God, stop.
Okay, great. Look forward to it. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow then.
Bye, Marty. I love you.
Bye. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.